Hi, Sandra Wilson here, clinical hypnotherapist and relationship specialist. So I did a video a bit earlier on this week when I went through a couple of pointers about how you would be able to tell if your relationship was worth saving. And I hope you found that helpful. So you may be going through a little bit of a rough patch. Of course, there are many, many things that affect our relationships, and you might be really feeling that you're at the end of your tether. And some of the things I spoke about a few days ago with regard to whether you should consider saving your relationship were things like knowing that you still have an attraction to your partner, enjoying being near them much of the time when you're not arguing about something, and feeling like they respect your opinion, even if they don't agree with it, and a feeling that they do genuinely have your best interests at heart and they put you first sometimes. So with some key ingredients, even if you're going through a rocky patch, you sort of know that maybe your relationship is worth saving. So you're not being abused, you're not being belittled, you don't have such completely separate lives that really you're just nothing more than ships that pass in the night. So when you know that you have some key ingredients that lend a definite feeling within you that your relationship is worth saving, you might want to try these 3 ways of making sure this actually happens. So yes, you've identified that your relationship's worth saving, and now how do you do that? Before we start on those 3 tips, I'm just going to quickly say that yes, my name is Sandra Wilson. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, which is a little bit different to other types of therapy. So with counselling, for example, you might go together as a couple or as an individual and talk quite a lot about your problems. And it can sometimes feel that it's very problem focused. Now, with hypnotherapy, you're more likely to kind of figure out what's at the root, what's beneath the surface of your conscious awareness, what may be driving these feelings that you have, this conflict that you have in your relationship, or the choices that you're making. And once you've identified the root cause, we then start to focus on solutions. So it's very much looking at helping you find ways to be with your partner that works, whether that's more intimacy, more connection, less conflict, doing more joyful, fun things together, maybe having fewer disagreements, although it's perfectly normal to have those disagreements, and just finding a way of overcoming personal challenges to be with your significant other in a meaningful, passionate way that serves your needs and theirs. So here are the 3 tips. So number 1 is to find a time to talk when you are both calm. And it's a little bit like making sure that you don't go supermarket food shopping when you're hungry. So sometimes it can be very tempting to start to bring up a situation in a reactive way when you feel the emotion. So you've got to say something to them right now because it's so imperative. If you do that, you're going to be very much led by your emotions. So wait until you are both calm. You are both able to rise above the reactive emotional part of the brain and really, really feel settled and comfortable so you can talk honestly and openly. The second tip is button it when they are talking. Listen. Listening is such an underrated quality, such an underrated skill, and it's a big part of effective communication. So normally when we talk to each other, we're always anticipating what we're going to say, our counter argument. And really what I'm saying is, if you can, just butt in it, just let them speak, just listen, give them your time, give them your attention, let them have their airspace. And chances are, when you have finished truly listening and when it's your turn, you'll just feel a little bit more in tune with what they are feeling and what they are aware of. And that will then lead you to formulate a more meaningful response rather than just reacting, if that makes sense. And finally, tip number 3 is, once you have talked about your feelings, how you perceive the problem, as soon as you possibly can, start turning it around toward what you want instead of the problem. So focus on solutions. So, for example, if you've been arguing more or you're not been having enough intimacy, something else, turn that on its head. What do you want instead? What's the solution? What's the compromise? What's the first step that you could reach in making that compromise? How can you find or rediscover joy that you once had? So I hope these 3 tips have been helpful. Sometimes it's quite possible that you can do this alone with your significant other. Other times you might need some help. And of course, like I said, it's a little bit different trying something like hypnotherapy, solution-focused hypnotherapy. But if you think it's something you might like to try because you are not really able to get to where you need to be with your partner by yourselves, then that's what I do. Give me a shout if you want to have a free consultation. Bye for now.